Hey friends, welcome to my 2026-2027 flip through video for my homeschool planner. If we haven't met before, my name is Elizabeth and I am a second generational homeschooler who is now homeschooling her own kids. I love to use a good planner that I can write things down in, and I have tried so many different ones over the years. But I was always missing something or wishing that it had something else, so I eventually just made my own, and this is what has worked out really well for me. I love the fact that it's a binder system, so I can set up all the dividers and have it all laid out. And I only have to do that once because afterwards, every year, all I have to do is just print out the pages that I need and swap those in. If you want to make it fancy, you can buy a really nice binder and then just cut out the little insert where it says homeschool planner or teacher planner and glue that on, or just tape it on to the front of your binder. 2 years ago, I shared a really detailed look at how I set up these 2 pages, so I'm going to share that here. This is probably my favorite section. This makes me feel so prepared and not overwhelmed when I look ahead and I see everything laid out for when we're going to do school, when we're going to have class days, which is co-op, and when I am planning vacation days. I will share with you how I fill out the year at a glance, but the reason I do this is because it really helps me stay on track. I know how many days we need to do school, how many days we can actually use for a sick day because of this, and I can also figure out how many vacation days we're able to do. And then our attendance record is what actually happens. I try to make it match up to the year at a glance as much as possible. First, I will color in all of our class days or co-op days, as some call them. And then I will fill in all the days I know that we want to take off for vacation time. And then I will figure out what date I want to start school and when I want to end school by. And then I will count how many days in between are available for us to do our actual book work. I will add up each month. And then I will subtract how many days we need for our actual book work. Doing it that way tells me how many days I can take off for sick time if I want to start school at a certain time and end at a certain time and take a certain amount of vacation days off. If you saw that tiny print, it told me that I could take 18 days off. I don't know if that'll be enough or not, but we are really hoping to take the whole month of December off for my Christmas school. Once I am finished with that, I will color in all of the days that I have planned for our actual book work. So the year at a glance is the ideal. It is the goal. The attendance record is what actually happens. So my goal is just to hope and try and make it so the attendance record matches up as close as possible with the year at a glance. I will copy one and put one at each of my kids' desk. This really helps them know what's expected, what days we are doing school. It helps eliminate any arguments because they see that if we want to have vacation time, if we want to be done by a certain time of the year, we need to do school these days. I hope that was a helpful explanation of how to use those first 2 pages. After you flip the page, you'll see there's a spot to write down fun days you want to celebrate and fun themes you want to do each month. There is also a journal spot for you to write down your why and your vision for the year. And then I use these quarter at a glance pages to pretty much plan out my whole year. There are 10 blank subject rows and 9 weeks per quarter. I will write down what lessons we have to do each week for each subject, and that just gives me a really good overview of what we are needing to do each quarter, each semester, and essentially the whole year, without having to spend so much time doing a detailed week-by-week plan. There is also a field trip log, a read aloud log, a subscription log, and a password log. And then right here is where I suggest putting any bonus printables that you want to use. In my PDF, you'll notice there's a designated spot that has a whole bunch of extra bonus printables for you to use. These are totally optional and they're just there for you if you want some extra organizational tools. I'll speed this part up so you can at least get a little glance of what's in the bonus section. But there's a unit study brainstorm, a subject brainstorm. There's these lesson trackers. There is a day at a glance, a monthly habit tracker, a school rhythm page, a reading tracker, a week at a glance that is broken down by the hour, a high school transcript page. And then this is new this year. I had a lot of people ask for an hourly school time tracker. So there are 2 options that I created. One is to track the total hours for school spent each day across the whole year, and that is all on one page. You can also use the monthly hour spent tracker, and that allows you to track up to 10 subjects, how much time you spend on each one each month. So another favorite part of my planner is the student section. These are really easy to print. You just print however many copies you need for however many students you have. Each section starts off with a student notes area for you to brainstorm and write anything down. Once you flip over the page, you will see that there is a student reflection page and then an area to write down your goals for your student. And then there is a plan of study page where you can write down up to 10 subjects and jot down the curriculum that you're using, the title, and the description. Next to it is a grade tracker for the year. And then a new thing that I added last year was the student trajectory pathway. So this is spread across 4 pages. I basically made this as my oldest was starting to go into middle school because I wanted a way to map out what courses I wanted her to take and what years I wanted her to take them. Like everything else in my planner, there is room for you to map out up to 10 subjects, and it goes from pre-K all the way to 12th grade. At the bottom, there's an area for you to jot down any ideas or plans you have for extracurricular classes, volunteer opportunities, special field trips, events, any sports or teams that they are joining or any clubs they're a part of. And that is the student section. And believe it or not, we are over 6 minutes into this video and we are just now getting into the bulk of the planner. The planner runs from July 2026 all the way till June 2027. However, we don't do school in July, so that's why you don't see it here. So each month comes with a 2-page spread, so there's plenty of room to write down dates, anything important. There is a to-do list off to the side here, and then a spot to write down your top 3 priorities for the month. Each month comes with a monthly notes page, and this is where you can either brainstorm for the month ahead of time or write down your thoughts and reflection at the end of the month. And then now we get into the weekly section. So every week starts off with a week at a glance page. There is a spot to write down your to-do list, any book or school supplies needed, and then a notes section. This big section here is meant for you to be able to time block out your whole week. The hours are broken down from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. And if you like to time block out your week, it just can be really helpful. And now here is the weekly lesson planner. There is space for you to plan up to 10 subjects. They are left blank so you can decide what subjects you want to write down. And it is set up to be a 5-day school week, Monday through Friday. There is a notes section at the bottom and then a spot at the top to write down your top 3 priorities for the week. At the end of every week, there is also a weekly notes section, and just like with the monthly notes section, you can decide if you want to use it ahead of time as kind of a brainstorm page or at the end of the week as a sort of a reflection page. And then these sections just continue and repeat themselves for every single month. And then if your week looks a little bit different than mine, like let's say you do school on the weekends or you do a 4-day school week, or you want different hours on the week at a glance page, there are these blank options in the bonus section so that your week can look a little bit differently depending on what you need. Also, I wanted to throw out there, because I've used my planner in multiple different ways. In the very beginning, I would plan out week by week way ahead of time. Now, I'm in a place where I just use the quarter at a glance pages to kind of plan out the year so I have a good spine to go off of. I have got a plan in place, but I am not overwhelming myself at the beginning of the year to go in and plan out each week. And then I will use the weekly lesson planner for me to go in and log what we actually did that week. I just wanted to throw that idea out there because for me, I have found that to be the most flexible and the least overwhelming way to plan out my school year. Whether you plan out the school year that way or if you go in and plan out week by week, I wish you the absolute best and hope that this is helpful for you as you go into the new school year.